Pittsburgh Steelers insider says the holdup on the TJ Watt contract extension is Aaron Rodgers, and Pittsburgh Steelers waiting on him to sign first. But first, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, one of the big things this offseason so far has been TJ Watt's contract negotiations and him just posting the peace sign on social media. Another big thing has been the Steelers quarterback situation and Aaron Rodgers and the delay in him signing with the Steelers, or just delay in general. And those two go hand to hand now, says Mark Kaboly, a Pittsburgh Steelers insider, because he says that the holdup on TJ Watt's contract negotiations is the Pittsburgh Steelers waiting to see how much money exactly Aaron Rodgers signs for if he comes to the Steelers. So I'll give you the direct quote. He says this: "I think the hang up is the Steelers want to see what Aaron Rodgers is gonna get. And whatever is left, they might say, okay, TJ, this is it." End quote. So if that's the case, that's a weird situation to be in for TJ Watt. And I can see why he would be frustrated with it. Because he's been with the team for how long? He's the record holder in sacks, defensive player of the year, and he's just a really great player in this league, one of the best defense players in the entire league. And the holdup in my contract talks with you is a quarterback who isn't even sure if he wants to come to our team, or isn't even sure if he wants to play in the NFL anymore, and you're not going to sign me to a contract extension, but you're willing to wait months for him to sign with us. It just doesn't make sense. So I would see why TJ Watt would be frustrated about the situation and why he would put the peace sign on social media and have everyone start talking about it. And then I could see why his brother JJ Watt has spoken out many times about how you got to take care of your own and TJ Watt's contract extension talks. I can see why all that's happening, because Aaron Rodgers, he signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers isn't even his first option. He wanted to sign with the Vikings. Vikings said no. Then he's waiting out on the New York Giants. Then the Giants go to sign someone else. And you would think that he would sign right away after those two options go away with the Steelers. But no, now he's waiting on other opportunities. Maybe an opportunity opens up again with the Vikings and he signs there. So he still hasn't even signed yet. And you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers before you sign a deal contract extension with TJ Watt. It just doesn't make sense. And now the Saints quarterback position has opened up and there's rumors about him going there instead of the Steelers. So this whole Aaron Rodgers TJ Watt thing doesn't make sense, and I would be frustrated as well if I was TJ Watt. Not only from that perspective, but from the perspective of, hey, you're going to sign this quarterback to what, 30 plus million, and then only give me what's left? It just doesn't make sense. TJ Watt has been here. He's a much better player than Aaron Rodgers is, and much more needed for this team. The Steelers, when you look at Aaron Rodgers' kind of completion percentage and just overall QB numbers last year, it just wasn't good. The last few years just wasn't good since his Green Bay days, his MVP days. So you're just going to get a quarterback for 30 plus million who isn't even top tier anymore, like 42 years old, but you're not going to sign TJ Watt to an extension when he's still in his 30s, low 30s that is, and still playing at a very high level. So TJ Watt, he's still waiting on a contract extension, and apparently per Mark Kaboly, Pittsburgh Steelers top insider, it's because Aaron Rodgers. Also, the contract negotiations are getting messy as well, because if that's what's really going on, you look at what TJ Watt's seeing, and he's seeing these guys with their other organizations, like Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. You see the guy in Houston signed for $35 million. All these guys are signing deals with their teams, becoming more paid than TJ Watt by like 10 plus million, and TJ Watt's still the best defense player in the league. So he sees all that happening, but the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't willing to sign him to a contract. You can see why things may be sideways, and all these outlets are talking about how these negotiations with TJ Watt aren't going well. So when you look at what Aaron Rodgers is doing this offseason, it's basically messed everything up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it really has Pittsburgh Steelers working in ways that they've never worked before. They're letting their whole offseason season basically be dictated by one person signing with their team. The Steelers basically have signed no big-time free agent this offseason, basically made just very little adjustments to their roster compared to last season. And to be honest, they were probably better off last season when looking at what they did in the offseason than so far what they did this offseason. The only big move really has been DK Metcalf. They still have, what, 30 plus million, $40 million in cap space? They've barely spent any of it. All the big name free agents are gone. And the reason why you still have all that cap space is because you know that Aaron Rodgers is going to take, what, $30 million? So you want to keep that money aside and not waste it and sign some other guys. So Aaron Rodgers has basically dictated this whole offseason in terms of the moves the Steelers have made. You look at all the deals they made, it's all short-term deals, 1-year contracts, or even lower money deals on 2-year contracts. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be dictated by Aaron Rodgers, and to be honest, if he would have just signed with a different team, like the Vikings, or the Giants, or now the Saints, then the Steelers probably would have spent all that money elsewhere. They wouldn't still have all that money set aside for Aaron Rodgers. No, it would have been spent on outside free agents, other free agents, and they would have gone after other guys. But because Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed, and because the Steelers are waiting out for him and letting him dictate everything, they have all that money set aside for him and not spending it on other free agents who could help this team. So this whole situation with Aaron Rodgers has been baffling to me. The Steelers have never worked in a way like this before, where they just wait months for a player to sign with your team, when in reality, he probably doesn't even want to be here. He's not your second option. He's like your third, fourth option on your team of what he would want to sign for or with. So Aaron Rodgers has dictated everything, and now he's dictating a TJ Watt contract negotiation. That just doesn't make sense. And Marco Bully saying that just opens your eyes to see where the Steelers are doing business. And right now, it's just not good. Also, you have to realize the NFL draft is right around the corner. And this Aaron Rodgers thing is going into the draft. Because when the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock to select at round 1, pick number 21, and they are not sure of who their quarterback is, they might go out and select a quarterback just because they need one. And if Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed yet, that's probably what they're going to do. Because you're going to go into the season with just Mason Rudolph? No, probably not. So if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, it might affect their draft as well, with maybe selecting Jaxson Dart if he's there, Shedeur Sanders, or whoever. It may lead the Steelers to drafting a quarterback. But if Aaron Rodgers signs, maybe they don't go do that. So it's leading up to the draft now, and it could affect their draft, which can affect their team. First round draft pick for the next 5 years. So the Pittsburgh Steelers need to hurry up and decide what they're going to do and stop letting this distract them from everything else that they have set to do this offseason. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been interviewing all these quarterbacks in the draft class, bringing them in on visits, going to their pro days, meeting with all of them, and there's a reason for that. Maybe they're unsure of Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time they're still waiting out for him. So stuff can affect it, and it just doesn't seem as like the Pittsburgh Steelers know what they're doing right now. This offseason has been one of the worst offseasons I've seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers in a long time in terms of just getting players to help this team and fix this team. They've really done nothing this offseason other than depth guys or get a starter in Darius Slay, but he's like 34 years old. So they've really done nothing this offseason when you think about it to fix this team. So it's one of the worst off seasons, and it's becoming even worse if this is reality that Aaron Rodgers is affecting TJ Watt, who is your best player, maybe all time in your franchise on defense for like the last 20 plus years. So anyway, that's the end of this video. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this topic and this report by insider Marco Bully saying that TJ Watt's contract negotiations are being held up by Aaron Rodgers. And whatever Aaron Rodgers leaves behind in terms of money, that's what TJ Watt would get. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on that. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports, everything surrounding this team. I've covered it. I'll continue to cover it as we go into the draft and even past the draft with all analysis and highlights and introductions. to all the new players we end up drafting. And also subscribe, turn notifications, like this video. And until next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.